thanks for joining us. Us. This me and Stanley, and he's photobombing today. So, my name is Lisa Nielsen, and I'm your Aflac agent. I'll be your Aflac agent for as long as I am around and not retired. I've been with Aflac for a long time, and I love what I do. So if I can be of assistance to you, be sure to let me know. Then I would like to first go through the claims process, because if you have a claim, it's important that you get your claims done. Like, as long as you've had your policy, you can go back as far as you can up to your effective date, and we can do a claim. And if you need help, be sure to let me know. My information will be at the very end of this video. Then the claims process is pretty easy. There's an app you can put on your phone called Smart Claim, and then you just kind of upload it and all the information that they need, and you can have your money in your bank account the very next day. So that's really very nice. All right, the next thing I'd like to do is go through all of the products.
Let's get started. The first policy we're going to talk about is the short-term disability. There's a couple of ways that you can use this one, or more than a couple, but generally it's for either accidents or sicknesses that take you out of work. So if you cannot work because of a sickness or an accident, this will help you pay your bills. It's an income replacement, and it's geared around your income. It's sold as on individual basis. So in other words, it's what you design, what you need to replace in case you're disabled. And often we're more likely to be disabled due to an accident than a sickness. You can get benefits for as much as you can, or you don't have to take the full entire amount that you can have. If your bills aren't that much and you just really don't want to pay this extra premium, but you want to cover your bills, we can do whatever you need to do. So if you let me know what you would like to do and how much coverage you want and what your waiting periods, we can tailor make this policy for you. And you can only be the employee can only be the only person on this policy. The rates for this policy are this way. And we'll start where it says short-term disability, and the elimination period means the waiting period. If you're in an accident, this particular rate is a 14-day waiting period. If you're in an accident, 14 days. If you're sick, and then your benefit kicks in. So then you would have either a 3-month or a 6-month policy. And if you can see where it says annual income and then benefit period, underneath benefit period, it says 3 months and 6 months. So that little line separates the 3-month and the 6-month. Then it is age bounded. If you're going toward the right, from the left to the right, it's age bounded. You have different levels of coverage. And if you follow the annual income across the top, you can figure out if you needed $40,000 worth of coverage, which would be $2,000 in benefit. You can do $20,000, and you'll see that it's a $1,000 benefit, and the price is below that, and then you would just simply double that to make $40,000. It's kind of a simple math process, but it's a little difficult to explain it. You can have a 0.7 waiting period. You can have 0.14. You can have 0.30, but then you also can have 3 months, 6 months, 12 month, and 24 month benefit periods. So if you, that's again determined by you and what your family needs and how much you make. So the next, if you have questions, just shoot them to me in an email or a text or a voicemail. And then the next one will be the Aflac Plus rider. And this one is broken down into tier 1, tier 2, and cardiac artery bypass surgery benefit. So if you look at tier 1, there's 15 items are covered, events is what they call them, and you have 15 of them. If any of these happen to you, then you would receive $5,000 benefit to you. And then the benefit is actually only payable once per person per lifetime. But if you go down here to the subsequent tier 1 critical illness, you also can receive $3,000 if on that same tier 1 critical illness events on that list, if you have the onset date of a recurrence that's the same tier 1 critical illness event or an occurrence of a different tier 1 critical illness event. So the benefit isn't payable though on the same onset date as the tier 1 critical illness event. So they do have to have different onset dates, but you can, once you've had a heart attack, if you have a second heart attack, if that heart attack, the second one, is a different date, then you would receive $3,000. Okay, and plus if you have a different, the same one again, you would only be paid once per person per lifetime. Then the tier 2s are the $1,000 coverage for these nine events. And it starts with encephalitis and goes to cystic fibrosis, if you're following along with me. So there's Lyme disease in there, there's lupus, there's meningitis. You take your pick. But you would receive $1,000 when the doctor says you have one of those. And then the coronary artery bypass surgery is a $2,000 benefit. And remember, this money does come to you. It doesn't go to the doctor or the hospital unless you tell them that it's okay to go that way. But if you act responsibly, that's all we ask, is that you act responsibly when you get your money, that you don't go blowing it on a big screen TV and then say, oh, I don't have the money to pay my hospital bill, because it will be just really shot down that way. Okay, so the Plus Rider cost is right here under Plus Rider, Aflac Plus Rider. It is broken down into age bands, and the cost for it is off to the side, off to the far right side. If you have any questions, give me a holler. And the Aflac Cancer policy is next. The cancer screening you would receive on this one is option 2. And this for your, like a cancer screening, for the ladies, it would be pap smear, mammogram. For the guys, it would be a PSA blood test or any other cancer screening. As long as it's a cancer screening, that you would receive $75 per covered person per year. And you can go up. The difference if you go up in the tiers, so if you choose option 2, this is what you'll get. If you choose option 4, you would get about double what option 2 is, and option 1 is less than this one. So you have the same categories. The money is just a little bit different. So you have an initial diagnosis benefit, and you'll notice that the children are, for cancer of children, it is double the amount of the insured and spouse. And that's because often both parents have to take time off of work to get that child with cancer to the appropriate medical people, like the cancer center or just the doctor's office. And the other spouse has to sit home with the other children, or has other, or they want to be with the two of them want to go and then pay a babysitter or something for the rest of the children. So there's all kinds of cost involvement with cancer that your major medical doesn't cover. There's a second opinion benefit in here. There's radiation chemotherapy. There's hormone treatment, hormone therapies, chemotherapy, anti-nausea, stem cell bone marrow. There's blood and plasma. There's surgical benefits. There is a skin cancer benefit. And there is a hospital confinement benefit. So the cost for this one, if we scroll down here, we have it broken out into an individual, insured and spouse, which is, husband and wife. Then there's one parent family, which is the employee and children. And the two-parent family is employee, spouse, and children. The total cost is off to the right. And notice they do not charge you for on the one-parent family. They charge 46 cents for all of your children on both the one-parent and the two-parent. So that's a nice bit of change. And these are all per pay period amounts that you're seeing here. Then the next one that we get to talk about, this is the last one. It's option 2, accident. And the accident does pay you when you walk through the emergency room doors or the urgent care or your doctor's office. So if you walk through the doctor's office and you're just dripping with blood and say, I need some stitches, and they don't take an x-ray, they just stitch you up, you would receive $120 for just the stitches. If you have the lowest amount you would get is $120. If you do have an x-ray with the walking through the doctor's office doors or the urgent care, it would be $150 if you do have an x-ray. A hospital emergency room and with and without x-rays, it's $170 and $200. So you can scroll down here with me. There's an ambulance, there's ground ambulance and air ambulance. There's blood and plasma. There is a CAT scan MRI benefit. You've got physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech for an accident. There is also an appliance benefit, back brace, body jacket, wheelchair, cane, walking boot. Any of those, they have a benefit there. And even if you have crutches hanging out in your garage, you can use those crutches and you would still get the appliance benefit as long as you have the paperwork that says you need it. And the doctor says that you need it. So that's kind of a nice benefit because you can borrow them from your neighbors and still get paid for them. Then you have this one is new, this benefit, the home modification. If you need to modify your home, if you need to put in a temporary ramp or a permanent ramp, it doesn't matter. They will pay you $2,000 per person per covered accident. So even if your buddies are going to come over and put it up for you and donate all the material, you know that you're going to get $2,000, and that could buy some nice pizza or Subway sandwiches or something that would be nice to give your little volunteers there. And also would have the next column is the specific sum injuries. And what that means is that they will pay you a specific sum for these things. It doesn't matter what deductible you have, or even if you have insurance, health insurance or not. That doesn't matter to AFLAC. They will always just pay you what they say they're going to pay you. And it comes to you unless you assign it somewhere. So if you end up being paralyzed, that can be from $4,000 to $10,000. Surgical procedures are $175 to $1,000. Eye injuries are $250 to $250. And the list is pretty long here, and it can involve a lot of things, and it's just nice to have it. There is an accidental death benefit there, and you can see those, and you can freeze that screen and look at them if you'd like. Then you also have a wellness benefit on this policy. The wellness benefit is when you go in for a wellness check, the claim form does have specific things it's looking for, like a cancer screening or a blood test, or there's a few things, and you'll want to be familiar with those. But as long as you have the information about your doctor and the address, then on this policy, it will pay $60 once per calendar year. So it's not per person, it's just once per calendar year. Then if you go down, and this is the end of this page, and it has a few more things. And if you have questions, again, email or text or call me and I'll help you through that. The cost for the accident plan is right here. And this is option 2. And there's the individual, the employee and spouse, one parent family, and the 2-parent family, so husband, wife, and children. And you see the cost over there on the right. And this is about it. We do have 2 more slides. This is the choices of products that you do have here at Village Capital. And the ones that will pay a benefit for having COVID, that's often a question that I've been hearing lately, is the short-term disability and the hospital indemnity are the 2 that would have a benefit for being diagnosed or being out of work or being in the hospital for any amount of time. The disability, if you're just quarantined and let's watch you, then if you have a 14-day waiting period, often that's the quarantine time, and so it zeroes out. But if you have to be out for longer than that, or if you have a diagnosis of COVID and you're admitted into the hospital, then the hospital indemnity would pay and the short-term disability would pay. So there's combinations of all kinds of things. So we've talked about the accident and the cancer. The critical illness we haven't talked about, but it is available. And there's a dental, all the way from a supplement dental to a full-blown dental plan that you can participate in. The hospital indemnity is the next one. Life insurance, we didn't talk about that one, but it is available. And short-term disability and vision. Those are all the product choices. And if you need an extra brochure or a different level of anything we've talked about, be sure to email me, and I can email you back with those brochures and costs and things. Then also be aware that if you have an older policy that's like the cancer policy, we revise it every 5 to 10 years. If you've got an older one and this one that's out is a new one, you can either have your old one still or you can upgrade it. So that goes with any of these things. Also, if once you enroll in these, if you leave your job and go to a different job, you can take them with you. So that's another nice benefit of this type of a policy. This has my email, my name, and my phone number on here. So you do have my contact information. If you have any questions, give me a call or an email or a text. Thank you for your time.